All right. So the last Module 4 RAP quiz that any team had issues with or needed more than one attempt to get right was number 28, the last one. And it reads, as we see here, according to Taylor et al., that's who wrote our OpenStax text, what is the central question that antitrust authorities must consider as they evaluate whether to block or allow proposed mergers? Well, let's think about what was in the text. Are the increased campaign contributions from the now larger corporation worth more than the voter outrage due to higher prices if the merger is allowed? Well, that was me being cynical. That wasn't in our reading. So, that's out. Do government regulators have enough information about the firm's cost structures to make a good decision about whether to allow the merger? That isn't. That actually is not a bad question, but that's not what our authors talked about as they explored this question. Will research and development spending by the combined single firm be more than the research and development spending by the two separate firms? Well, that isn't what they talked about either. What they talked about was, will cost reduction due to economies of scale be passed on to consumers, or will the reduction in competition result in higher prices? And those cost reductions are, the way we can think about them are, let's suppose firm output is Q. Maybe I should use small q because at least before the merger there were at least two firms serving this market, Q. And then average cost, dollars per unit. These are units per month. All right, so let's suppose that there's economies of scale. And so our long-run average cost curve looks like this. So the question is, what if we have two firms that are splitting the market and they're both of size Q naught, just to keep it simple? Well, if we let the merger happen, then both firms, the combined firm, will be producing 2 times Q naught worth of output, at least if they didn't change their decision on output strategically to manipulate the market. But anyway, so average cost initially, and then you would see that this merger, in this canned example admittedly, would bring costs down to AC1. Now, are consumers going to get that, or does that just mean higher profits for the firm, both because, for the merged firm, both because now their costs are lower, their unit costs are lower, but also because maybe with this one big competitor out, they have an ability to charge a higher price to consumers. We're going to see when we get to our study of oligopoly that even though it's just one fewer firm, if there were 4 firms in the market and the market drops down to 3, say, that can still have a huge consequence in terms of a reduction in competition in that particular market. The example that I'll use then is the telecommunications market, where we have 4 players right now: Verizon, AT&T, Sprint, and T-Mobile. And T-Mobile is the smallest of the 4, but T-Mobile has been the disruptor in that sector. And T-Mobile has been the subject of takeover attempts by AT&T, and their Sprint is trying to merge with them. But the justice disallowed a buyout of T-Mobile by AT&T a couple years ago because losing that sort of disruptor, the firm that's willing to defy the norm, the industry norm, and offer consumers a better deal to try to win their business, losing that player in the game would likely greatly reduce competition in that sector. A far bigger reduction in competition than having a firm with a 10% share swallowed up by a firm with 30% share would indicate. Again, this is the central question: will the cost reductions achieved by the merged firm be passed on to consumers, or will the reduction in competition result in higher prices for consumers?